Check, check, 1, 2. How's everything sounding? How are you all doing? Yeah, how's everyone doing? It is September 3rd, 2024, 5:33 p.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, that's about it. No, I'm kidding. Going to jump into the code that I've been working on, learning how to animate in processing. And then from there, yeah, I don't really know. It's just the usual. I'll have to go back to the freeform board here to consult. But if you're watching, feel free to say hi in the chat. It's always nice to hear from y'all. And I'm gonna take a moment to make sure I'm live on Instagram because I have to do that separately. Cool. Yeah, I should be live over there too. If you're watching, let me know how everything's sounding. Let me know how you're doing. And yeah. Also going to load up the tutorial we've been following from. If you have any questions about what I'm working on, please let me know. I'm happy to go into it. Put this in all of the chats as well. So yeah, this is the tutorial here that we've been working from, and we'll continue to work from today. So I'll start the stream by copying everything from yesterday and putting it into a new freeform board. So we'll call this, oh, that's not what I meant to do. Call this 14th stream board, September 4th, 2024. Is that how I formatted it? Close. Okay. And yeah, we'll just paste everything in. There we go. Cool. So yeah, we'll start by recapping last time. Did I write? Yeah, I think I did write this down. So what did we do last time? We started by recapping the stream before, which was almost a whole week before then, unfortunately. I'm happy to be back doing these streams. I have a lot of fun doing them, and I hope you all find they're relaxing or whatever it may be. It's nice to have in the background as you're working on projects. But yeah, then we worked on the tutorial called mouse pressed from the Learn Processing tutorial we've been working through, which is by the Coding Train, as you can see here, and I put a link on the screen over on Twitch and YouTube. Then what else do we do? Made a slight variation of our most recent processing sketch from Mouse X and Mouse Y. So all we did was made it so that in this drawing we can erase what we're doing. To open it up. Cool, so if I run this processing sketch that we made here, you can see it's a little interactive drawing we made. And if I click on my mouse, or sorry, left click on my mouse, it'll erase the board. Kind of see here, I have a vertical mouse, so I have to look down visually at it to make sure I was right when I said left click instead of right click. But yeah, this is what it looks like here. Click as often as I'd like, or not as often as I'd like. But anyways, we'll stop the sketch. This is what the code looks like. So the stream before that, we learned about setup and draw. And then yesterday we added mouse press here as another block of code. And we went on a slight tangent after working through the mouse pressed tutorial. We went on a slight tangent because I was checking out the book, The Nature of Code from Daniel Shiffman, which I'll put in the chat as well. There's a link to buy it, and you can read it for free on the website, which is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. But I recommend supporting Daniel and the Coding Train whenever you can. I do plan on picking up a copy of this book myself. And yeah, I would be working through it right now, but does recommend working through a introductory tutorial like Learn Processing, like we're doing today before working through this book. Then we're talking about, what's the difference between processing and P5.js. This book really focuses primarily on JavaScript and replicating nature through code with JavaScript. But we're working in processing, which is a port of Java. I believe port is the correct term. I should really look it up. That's the correct term. But yeah, here, let me show you the processing website. Here's what it looks like. Oh, I forgot to put a link to Nature of Code in the chat, so I'll do that. A link to processing as well. But yeah, what else? So I found a video from Daniel Schiffman about comparing P5.js and processing, which sounds very interesting. I think it's a part 1 of 2 or something, so I definitely want to watch that on the stream after we finish the Learn Processing tutorial, just because I do have some experience within P5.js, but I'm curious, how is what I'm going to learn right now, how is that all going to transfer to P5.js? I'm not 100% sure, because I know it will. I feel like it has to. They're made by the same people. But alas, I'm not sure. Here's the website for P5.js. I'll put that in the chat too. We go to about, does it talk about it here? Nah. Yeah, it just talks about they're both under the processing foundation. So I'm curious what connections there are between the two. Well, that's cool. They have their own little start coding link here to go to their web editor. Sorry. P5.js uses web editor, or can use a web editor, while processing will come with its own editor, but I guess you can use any editor of your choice. That's definitely what I want to do after the Learn Processing video, and I'm debating the nature of code or going straight into Godot. We'll see how we're feeling. I feel like Godot is what I came here to learn and what I think will help me the most in the long run with the kinds of projects I want to make. But I'm having a lot of fun with processing right now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a lot of fun with it. So maybe I want to just, spend some more time with it, go through the Nature of Code book first. And then that could be helpful too, just to get some more JavaScript P5 experience as well for going into Godot. So I don't know, we'll see. Again, I think Godot appeals to me because it's more in line with what I want to do, but the Nature of Code looks a little bit more fun right now. But who knows, maybe Godot will end up being just as, if not more fun. Probably be about the same in the end. But anyways, the Nature of Code book just interests me. So maybe we'll work through that on stream. And I like how too the book is on the URL, so I can work through it right on my display here instead of having to hold up in the book for you all or something like that. Oh, forgot to open up the YouTube stream on my end too. So if you're watching, let me know if you can hear me all right. I couldn't tell if my voice was clipping at all. Hopefully it isn't. I don't think it is, but it might be clipping. I don't know. I think I need to add a compressor. But I remember some issues last time. I tried adding a compressor in the software I'm using, but we'll see. I'll save that for another time unless someone tells me in chat that I don't sound too great, which very real possibility. But anyways, so Godot, so then we went on that tangent, kind of like how I just went on it again now. And then what did we do after that? So the tangent. Oh, then we just made agenda for tomorrow. So I guess the tangent was towards the end. I forgot about that. Another tangent I want to start today with is talking about this one interview with Daniel Schiffman too that I was listening to earlier today from another YouTuber I really like, Pat Viram. So I'll put a link to this video in chat. The Processing Foundation posted about it today, and I thought I'd listen to it on my lunch break, and it's a really great interview, so definitely check it out if you have the time. Put a link to it in the chat there. So yeah, what are we doing today? So we're reviewing what completed today on stream. I'll also add what we did today. Continued. I'll say continued. Actually, here. Copy and paste this. I'm already starting what we did today because I don't want to forget. Today we continued the tangent on which tutorials to follow next. And then I'll say we very briefly talked about the Daniel Schiffman interview from Pat Vera. Nope, that's not how you spell her name. And yeah, I recommend again checking it out if you have the chance. I won't talk about too much more from there. Pat Vera, oops, I clicked on something. And Daniel Schiffman talk a lot about teaching and creative coding, and yeah, it's just a fun, all-around great interview. Check it out. But yeah. So what are we going back to today? Is that correct? Oh no, sorry. Here's the agenda for today's stream. So I'm going to copy and paste this over to agenda for today, because again, this was originally a copy and paste from yesterday's board. Today is September 3rd. So we'll review what we completed today. Let's say review what we completed yesterday on stream, which is what I'm doing right now. Review chapter, mouse pressed event and learned processing. So specifically, and here's what I want to focus on, specifically the second half of the chapter focused on color mode until the end of the chapter. That's where I was pretty tired yesterday and I felt like he was starting to lose me there. So I definitely want to rewatch that. Then add in code possibilities from the mouse press tutorial into one of our previous processing sketches. So yeah, I think recapping the second half of that tutorial today will help me there. And then we'll begin the next chapter, which is variables and learn processing. So yeah, I'm not sure if we'll get to that last part today. Hopefully we do, but let's see. So I'm gonna go back to mouse pressed. Yeah, that's where we were. We'll rewatch it. This tutorial was, how long was it? It's about 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, almost 10 minutes. We got through it yesterday. So a lot longer than some of the shorter ones we've had in the past. But yeah, I'm going to start from the beginning just to kind of recap. And actually, before I do that, let me look at my notes too from then. I'm going to unbold the title just because it'll make everything else I type in bold, which is very frustrating. So yeah, like setup and draw, mouse pressed is its own block of code. However, this block of code for mouse pressed is called an event. So I guess you have setup, draw, and an event like mouse pressed. If we move background from setup to mouse pressed, it will erase the background that's been created. So that's what we did yesterday, that I showed you at the beginning of this stream. It will erase the drawing if you click on the mouse since the new background is being refreshed. So that's why that happens. Each block of code doesn't run in the order it's written, the order that they run. So it's not running the code from top to bottom. Here, let me pull up the code from yesterday, and this will all make more sense if I show that. Yeah, it's not running the code from top to bottom as we see it as it previously would in some of our earlier sketches where we were just drawing shapes on a canvas. Here, it is running in a defined order that's built into the understanding of the flow of a processing sketch. So in referring to setup, draw, and in events, it's running in a predetermined order that processing determines, I believe. The best way I can describe that. Keep in mind, mouse X and mouse Y can replace any digits in our code. I made that bold just because I thought that was super interesting and helpful too. Like if I have an idea for reversing the numbers or having the mouse control the color rather than the movement, there's any digit essentially in the code we can replace with mouse X and mouse Y. And for example, we can use mouse X and mouse Y in reverse to reverse the coordinates of the shape we're controlling. Or as another example, we could use the mouse coordinates to control color. Another example is that we could use these coordinates in the mouse pressed block of code to change the color of the background every time that the mouse is pressed. Here in free form, if I start a new line, type in some random stuff. Can I tab this? Yes, I can. So I'm going to make this its own tab. Just feel like that'll help me keep track of these examples and that they all fall under this first point that mouse X and mouse Y can replace any digits in our code. I'll tab it twice just because, that did something weird. The text is on top of the bullet point. This app's a little weird sometimes. Freeform. Sometimes it does weird things. I feel like they could have done a better job coding it. But anyways, I'll just leave it like it is for now then. Here, I'll delete this text and let's jump into rewatching mouse pressed.
I said that the processing sketch is organized into 2 blocks of code. Setup, which happens once, draw, which happens over and over again. But there are other things that could happen. Specifically, there are events that could happen. Let's talk about a certain kind of event. What about if you were to click the mouse? So I am now adding to my list 3 different blocks of code.
Here I'm going to make it a little faster while we catch up to going up to the point I want to really focus on in this re-review.
Code. A setup block, initialize the program. A draw block, just do it always. Whenever you can, you should be doing draw. Mouse pressed is what I would call an event. This is something that's just sitting and waiting. It might never ever run. If a mouse is clicked in the forest, does anyone run the mouse pressed code? I don't think that goes. But this is the idea. This is code that's just sitting there and waiting. If the event is triggered by, in this case, the user, the person who's clicking the mouse, run that code. So maybe something that we could try is what if background gets moved into mouse pressed? Let me add one more block of code. Mouse pressed. Again, what is void? Why are there parentheses there? Let's get
to it. This is the part. I'm going to make even a little faster, but this is the part where we essentially made it so that if you press the mouse, it erases the board by adding a new background.
For now, focus on the name of the block of code, mouse pressed.
I also am not sure if it's adding a new background or if it's just refreshing the background, because I feel like if it was just adding a new background, that might cause a lot of computational power over time. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but if it's refreshing, then, it's starting from scratch, but I don't know.
Open and close curly brackets, which define the block of code itself. And any lines of code that are inside there will be executed whenever you click the mouse. Background, 0. So rather than remove background now from setup, I still wanted to draw that background when the program starts. I just wanted to draw it again whenever the mouse is pressed. Making my pattern, clicking the mouse. I'm gonna draw D, A, N. What fun. I'm writing the letters of my name, clicking the mouse, and erasing it and drawing some more. Another thing you might be wondering about this. The order of the code is obviously really important, right? Do I draw the circle on top of the square or the square?
And here's what I was talking about of setup to draw the mouse press and how it's not in the order that's we're in.
The circle. Which one comes first, square or circle? That order that I'm referring to is the order inside of a block of code. But these blocks of code, setup, draw, and mouse press, the order that I write them does not define the order that they run. The order that they run is defined by this built-in understanding of the flow of a processing sketch. So setup could actually be down here, and mouse pressed could be up here, and this is the identical sketch. Nothing has changed. Processing is always going to look for the block of code called setup.
Oh yeah, I remember yesterday I was confused about how mouse pressed got up there. I guess I missed that he did it in the tutorial, or I was confused why I was up there, so that answers that, rewatching it here.
run those lines of code first, then look for the block of code called draw, run those lines of code, then look for the block of code called draw, run those lines of code, so on and so forth. And if you ever click the mouse, it's going to skip and look for that block of code called mouse press. So it's important to know that. However, you absolutely want to keep these as separate and make sure your curly brackets are in the right place. If, for example, I removed this curly bracket here and put it down here by accident, then my setup block is actually defined inside of the draw block. I'll hit auto format. So
Oh yeah, this is the part I was hoping you'd play. And oh, who's in chat? Hey, thank you so much for joining. Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Sorry I had to open up Instagram for a second because my software I'm using to stream didn't tell me who you were. But yeah, I'm working through drawing with code right now. I'm watching some YouTube tutorials. Here, let me show you. This is what we did last week and yesterday. I do these every day at 5:30 p.m. So this is the code I made here. If I hit run, I made a little drawing. And yeah. Also, there's no audio. I don't know why. Oh no! Here, let me type in the chat to respond. I'm typing in chat right now. I'll put that on the screen in a second. Yeah. Just said no audio, I don't know why. So thanks for letting me know. So I'm going to go check on that issue right now. And again, I don't know why Ecamm, it used to show my comments. I don't know what it is. What's going on right now? Oh, they already left. Okay. Well, anyways, here, let me go check on that real quick. I'll be right back. I'm going to leave the camera on, but here I'm going to go check on that. Well, I'm going to mute myself for just a second. I forgot to mute my microphone, but the audio is working for me here. Oh, is it in double speed? Oh, it sounds terrible. Oh, is it in double speed? Oh, that sounds really bad. What's going on? Oh, it sounds terrible. Oh, is it in double speed? Oh, that's really bad. What's going on? It sounds terrible. Oh, it's hard to tell because, you know, not starting to loop, and there's also a noise filter on my microphone. That shouldn't be causing that. Here, let me go listen to it on Twitch. Yeah, let's see how it sounds on Twitch. Sorry for this interruption. Just getting used to all these tech issues again. Here. Just getting used to all these tech issues again. Here. Yeah, it sounds great on Instagram. No, sorry, not Instagram. It sounds great on Twitch. Why does it sound so bad on Instagram? On Instagram. No, sorry, not Instagram. It sounds great on Twitch. Why does it sound so bad on Instagram? Weird. On Instagram. No, sorry, not Instagram. It sounds great on Twitch. Why does it sound so bad on... Alright, that's weird. I don't know how to solve it right now without ending the stream. And honestly, the fact that it's only sounding weird on Instagram makes me wonder, like why is there a way for me to fix this? Just because if it sounded bad across the board on all platforms, I'd say, oh, that's an issue on my end. That's an issue of the streaming software. But the fact that that's only happening on Instagram, I don't know how I can fix that. If it sounds good on the other platforms, all I have to do for Instagram is just send it there too, the same way I do for the other platforms. So, yeah, I guess I'll save the recording of it later. But here, I'm going to type a message in case anyone joins on Instagram that they know that I'm aware of the audio issues and working on them. So here, I'll put on some music and pause for just a second. Actually, I didn't check YouTube. Here, I should probably, before I say this, actually check YouTube to make sure it sounds okay. Sorry, I forgot to lower the volume. I actually haven't checked to see if it actually sounds okay on YouTube, so I'm going to go check that right now. 1 second. Oh yeah, it sounds fine. Alright. So yeah, I don't know what it is with Instagram then. But thank you, Zena, too, in the chat for pointing that out. So here, I'm writing, sorry for audio issues with the stream. It sounds great over on Twitch and YouTube, so I recommend watching over it there. Just wanted to read that back before I commented it, just so that made sure I didn't have any blurring grammar issues or anything like that. I don't know. Yeah, that is too bad. Zainab, I see you just joined again. I think I fixed the audio issues, but I don't know why. It's only happening on Instagram if you can hear me. Oh, you can! Good to see you here. Thanks for joining. Yeah, no, thank you for pointing that out. I went to Instagram on my phone and it was sounding really weird and it just sounded bad and very distorted. So you might hear me, but it might still be distorted. But either way, it should sound a lot better on Twitch and YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't know why that's happening. But anyways, thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well. We are making some code with a software called Processing right now. I'm trying to get back into this and learn it because I haven't really used it at all since college. Oh, thanks for the message. Thank you. Super clear. Awesome. So happy to hear it. But yeah, I'm making this little drawing right here. It's an interactive drawing. I'm just controlling these squares with my mouse. If I click on the mouse, it'll erase the drawing. And yeah, I learned a little bit of coding and processing in college, but very, very little. And it's something I want to get into now. So I have pretty much no coding background, and so far on these streams, I've made this little drawing. I love it. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. I like doing these streams because for this exact purpose, it's kind of like studio visits where I'm just working on projects and friends like you can just come in and say hi. I feel like this is a new medium for you. It's great. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah. And yeah, it's just nice getting to hear from people who I probably wouldn't have heard from otherwise and say hi. And yeah, I've been enjoying these streams, so I do them pretty much every day around 5:30, Mondays through Thursdays actually, not every single day, but yeah, this is what we've made so far. I've been following these tutorials from Daniel Schiffman at the Coding Train. I really love his tutorials. They're just a lot of fun, so yeah, inspired me to go live on Friday when I'm making glass. Please join. No way! That's awesome. Oh, that means a lot. I'm so glad to hear that. I'll definitely be joining. Do you go live on Instagram? Do you go live on another platform? If you've been going live, I'm sorry I've missed them. I didn't get the notifications for some reason, so I'll go check on that. But yeah, I'd love to join. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that these live streams are so fun. like I said, it's just nice getting to chat with people while I work on projects. It also keeps me focused, you know, because I can't really get distracted I can't just get distracted going on my phone and browsing Twitter or Instagram or whatever it may be. And yeah, no, I'm glad to hear it. I feel like Glass is a perfect medium for live streams too, just because it's already such a fun process to watch, you know. It's very engaging because of that. So yeah, happy to hear it, and I will definitely be joining in the future. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you sent a new message. IG for now, but I should get on Twitch. I've never gone live before. Yeah, no, if you have any issues, so going live on Twitch and YouTube, specifically Twitch, actually, I take this back. I was going to say they require a bit more technology to go live. Like, I'm using a software right now to send my stream to Twitch and Instagram and stuff, but I guess you don't really have to do that. You can still stream from your phone just like you would on Instagram and YouTube now, because they built that into the Twitch app. But yeah, if you need any tech help with it, if you decide to you know, use the software or whatever it may be, just let me know. Took me a while to learn, so I'm always happy to help. But just going live from your phone, of course, is super easy and gets the job done. I couldn't really do it because then I couldn't show you my screen like this, like I'm doing now. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Zach. I'll hit you up definitely. Cool. Yeah, anytime. I like nerding out about this stuff too. I find it fun. But yeah. The only thing that is annoying for my streams with Instagram is you can only see the middle section of the stream. You know, if you on Twitch and YouTube, I have my camera set up and you can see the comments and stuff, but you can't really see that on Instagram right now. If I switch cams, you can see me. Hi, I'm here. But you can only really see me while I'm working on the other platforms. But anyways, and I know that's probably very funny looking on Instagram, but I really only have followers on Instagram, so that's why I keep going live there too. But yeah, let me see. I missed you. Oh, miss you too. hello, miss you too. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, how's life? How's everything? Oh, I wait. Sometimes, by the way, sometimes there's a little buffer between when you send the message and as a viewer and when I get it in my software, because it has to go through a few steps. Where are you now physically? I'm still in Rhode Island. Still in Rhode Island. Or do you mean where am I with the tutorial? Because we're kind of just bouncing off what we did here with this little drawing that you can erase. But yeah. Both. Yeah. So still in Rhode Island. Don't want to say too much more than that just because these videos get saved on my YouTube channel. And don't want much more information than that there. But yeah, in Rhode Island, and then
to see that in
the code. So I'm revisiting this one chapter from the tutorial from yesterday. Then we're going to move forward. Overall, my goal with these streams too is I kind of want to get into game design for like sculptures. I want to get more into building my own sculptures and stuff and putting video games inside of them that I create. But creating game engines requires some programming backgrounds that I don't have. So I figured processing is a great way for me to get that programming background. While because it's meant for artists, I can still actually make things that I'm excited by and enjoy and are not just for the sake of learning programming like a computer science intro course, whatever it may be. So yeah. Anyways, But yeah, how are you? What are you up to? Where are you currently, if you don't mind sharing? Yeah. While I wait to hear from you with the delay, I'll jump back into the code here. So I was just catching myself up to where we left off from last time.
Now, this to me looks horrifying. I am about to like jump out of my skin.
Going to turn down my background music too. Life is okay. My doggy is getting older. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and I recently had a life-altering experience, and I'm hoping to make more art about it. I have a fellowship I'm making work for on the 6th and 10th in Beacon. Awesome. Sorry, awesome for the fellowship. Congrats for the fellowship. I'm so sorry to hear about your doggy and the life-altering experience, though. That is tough. Yeah, really sorry to hear that. But I hope things keep getting better. Having an old doggy is tough too. Growing up, my parents had cats for a long time, and it was always tough when they would get older. A lot of them were old to begin with too, so it was something I unfortunately had to experience a lot with my cats. But yeah, I wish you all the best, and I hope your doggy's doing well, hanging in there, healthy, all that good stuff. And yeah, I hear you about the coding. I'm super excited to see new sculptures. I hope coding goes smooth. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hope it goes smooth too. So far it is. I'll say I enjoy it so much more than I thought I would too. It's something that sounded, before I got into it, like a chore, and that's why I loved painting and stuff, is because I didn't have to really think of the logic of what I was trying to make. I would just make it. So yeah, no, it's nice to actually enjoy it now. And being outside of school too, everything moves so much more slowly. I feel like I can actually kind of savor and appreciate these tutorials instead of having to rush through from assignment to assignment without actually learning the software just to kind of get projects done. So yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm just kind of aimlessly drawing while I talk. But yeah, congrats again on your fellowship. I'm excited to see the work you make at your fellowship too, and your live streams too. Awesome. Cool. So I'm going to jump back in. Let's see where we left off. I'm going to stream for about another 20 or so minutes too. I usually just stream for about an hour. Probably would be better if I streamed for longer, but this is all I really have time for these days, and my microphone is falling. There we go. All right, it's saved. Anyways, I'll jump back into it, but yeah.
For you, like, well, that seems fine. Like, setup is there, draw is there, who cares? But this is actually quite important. These blocks of code need to be standalone. We will see nested blocks inside of blocks of code. That's going to come up as we get further down this road, but not with setup, draw, and mouse press. Let's just run to see what happens. Yeah, fortunately, it's giving us a syntax error, so it won't really run it. That error is not super helpful, but I can see that this setup block of code needs to be here separately outside of draw. Now, here's my challenge to you. Mouse X and mouse Y are incredibly useful in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. I have used them here in probably the least interesting way. It's very intuitive.
Oh yeah, so I think I remember this from yesterday. He's going to say that you can use mouse X and Y to replace pretty much any digits, so we can reverse the directions of the mouse movement and such, which I think is super cool, but it's not something I really wanted to keep with this drawing, at least for now.
What I'm supposed to do, right? The circle follows the mouse, but mouse X is just a name for a number. Mouse Y is just a name for a number. I could switch them. Mouse Y, mouse X. Oh, this is really weird. As I move the mouse left and right, it goes up and down. As I move it up and down, it goes left and right. I clicked by accident there, by the way. That's why it cleared. So look at that. This is very hard for me to...
Making one or two more carpets, and then I think I'll graduate myself from carpets and move into making more blown pieces versus cast. Cool. I'm not familiar. Is carpets a glass term? I've never heard. At first, like when I was reading this, I was picturing like rugs, like tapestries and stuff. But then you said moving from carpets to blown pieces versus cast. Yeah, what is carpets in relation to glass? Assuming that's what you mean. If you are making fabric as well, that's awesome. But cool. Yeah, I regret not taking a glass course in college too, just because it looks like so much fun to seeing like you're saying blown versus cast. I obviously know about glass blowing, but I I'm not sure how cast really differs from blown pieces. I guess, you know, I assume cast is like mold making, is that right? Is that what cast is? It's like mold making that you would fit molten glass into. That's what I assume from just my general sculpture knowledge and lack of glass knowledge. But yeah, very cool.
Ooh, it feels wrong, but the processing doesn't care. It's just going to take the number and use it wherever you use it. I could put this back at the center and give mouse X to the red value and mouse Y to the blue value, and we can see the color is changing as I move the mouse around, because the value of red is increasing.
Yeah, that was a lot cooler to me too, that you can use the mouse to control color. That was when it really clicked that I could truly use mouse X and mouse Y at any point I want to in the code. Any digit, sorry, is what I mean. So yeah, could use it to change the color, but here I'm just going to keep playing the tutorial for now. We'll jump into this at the end.
Decreasing, the value of blue is increasing and decreasing. Maybe wherever I click the mouse will determine the next background that is drawn. So now the mouse position determines where the circle is, as well as the background color when the mouse is clicked. Okay, let's click the mouse, whoop. Click the mouse, click the mouse. Let's think about this a little bit. I kind of like what I've done here, but what is the range, for example, of mouse X? The range of mouse X.
Yeah, this confused me, because what he's saying wasn't what happened here. I spent a lot of time yesterday focused on this one part trying to figure it out, so I'm not going to go into it again, but I was confused about how the color of the position related to the mouse in the way he presents the code. I'm kind of rambling about this, but I can explain it more once he describes it a little bit more. I make glass carpets. So I pour glass at 2,300 degrees. Wow. The carpet patterns inspired by a traditional Eslimi design. So these are cast. I hope I'm saying Eslimi correct, by the way. Let me know if I'm not. So these are cast. I'm looking to get some funding to get a mold to blow into. Got it. Cool. Tutorial guys. Sounds so funny with the 2x speed. Totally. Totally. Normally I go, yes, correct. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, usually I go through at 1x speed, but because I'm kind of recapping what we did yesterday, I pumped it up to 2x speed. But yeah, that sounds awesome though about the carpets. Sorry, yeah, when you said carpets, I didn't know you actually mean like walkable carpets just made out of glass. I don't know if you intend for them to be walkable, but what I picture as a carpet, but as glass. I didn't know if I was missing out on a technical term. But yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm excited to see it. Yeah, excited to see photos. Are you adding color to them too? I can't, you know, from what I understand about glass and color, that kind of detail sounds insanely difficult to achieve. Or is it more just remaining transparent? Yeah. Curious to see. Yeah, very curious to see what they look like.
Is 0.
Yeah, again, my apologies for my lack of glass terminology here too, trying to think of the best way to say what I was envisioning in my mind from your description.
640. The range of mouse Y is 0 to 360, but the range of color is between 0 and 255. So processing.
Yes, the carpet motifs designs are actually colored glass powders that I arrange using a stencil. Awesome. Sorry, that makes so much more sense. You know, I was actually really picturing that you're going in with like a toothbrush or a paintbrush or something, or whatever it might be, and like adding color. I was like, you can't do that with molten glass. I was just trying to picture it. Also, a stencil makes a lot more sense. You're good. I realize my work sounds very vague when I say glass carpet. Yeah, no, it's not vague at all. It's just to me at least, it was just I initially was like, oh, is that a glass term that I'm not familiar with? I don't know. So yeah, that totally makes sense now. Very cool. Yeah, again, excited to see it. Excited to see it.
Figures out something to do regardless, but wouldn't it be nice if those ranges matched? Remember that color mode I told you about before? The color mode is something that I could switch while the program is running, but this is another good example of something that very typically would go in setup. I am defining how I'm going to use color over the course of this entire program. Color mode. The arguments to color mode are what kind of color, in this case RGB, then what is the range.
Yeah, this is cool. I remember from a previous tutorial, color mode lets you change from RGB to another term. It was hue, saturation, something else. But anyways, like another computational way of defining color in our code. Oh, crying emojis. Yeah, no. So RGB and then HS something. I'm trying to remember the name of it. But yeah, and then here he'll describe a little bit more in a second.
Red, I want to match it to the width of the window. The range
I also pause a lot because I want to add more commentary and kind of like explain my thinking. That way I'm not just kind of showing Daniel's tutorials over again, but I'm actually, working through them, thinking out loud and all that.
The height of the window. And then I'm not really using blue here, but let's just leave that as the default. Now, when I run this sketch, if my mouse is all the way over to the right and all the way to the top, I should have all red and no green. All the way to...
So yeah, that was what confused me, is all the way to the top to the right, it showed all green. Bottom left, it showed all red. That I understand, but it looks like it flipped. And I think it looks this way if we go back to a normal speed. It looks like it just flips
all the way to
instantly,
the bottom.
And that's not how your mouse moves. You're moving them the top to the bottom left, so I'm a little confused about that.
And all the way to the top, I should have all
Watch.
red and no green. All the way to the bottom, all the
Oh yeah, and it turned red before the mouse moved to the bottom left. Was that an editing issue? Here, you know what? Because I'm confused, let me just add it to my code and see for myself. So, excuse me, was it in setup? Now I can't really see his code because he's covering it, but I think it's in setup between size and background. So I'll add color mode. Here, can you see on Instagram? Yes, you can. Cool. Color mode, RGB, 640, 360, 255, semicolon. That was all he added, right? Oh, so that just changed the appearance of the color. So I'm missing something in my code. That's cool that, it worked, but that's not the color I intended for. So I'm going to delete it for now. And then I remember the other reason why I didn't try this last time, and that's because I was afraid of it ruining this sketch here. So here I'm going to copy all of this and let's put it into a new sketch. So I'll say new. I'll say don't save. Then here, let me see if I can go back to when he showed the color on the screen.
when I run this sketch.
Not the color, sorry, the code. So circle shows mouse X, mouse Y. So we have mouse pressed at the top. That shouldn't matter for us. Oh, but here we go. Backgrounds, mouse X and mouse Y. Why didn't that work? Oh, because I capitalized mouse. So here, does it work now? Oh, okay. So it got it. He explained this very well. I don't know what wasn't clicking for me, but I had to physically type out the sketch and work on it. So what's happening is that whenever I click on the mouse, it's changing the background color based on the position of where the mouse is when I click it. That's what's happening. All right. Again, you explained it very well, but I should have been able to figure that out. So yeah, again, this is just happening. The color just changes when I click on the mouse based off of where the mouse is, the coordinates of it rather. Got it. Cool. I am glad I followed along. Like I was following along very well in earlier tutorials, but with this one in particular, I need to take I kind of skipped through it because I didn't want to mess up the code I had made. So I'm glad I made this new sketch. I'm going to save it just so I have it. So I'm going to say I remember there was a problem with the numbers for some reason. 14th sketch. I'll say 14th stream sketch. And I'll say 9 dash, what's today? The 3rd dash 24. It's a save. Yep. Cool. All right. So what did he add after that?
If my mouse is all the way over to the right, And all the way to the top, I should have all red and no green. All the way to the bottom, all the way to the left.
I just realized I didn't add color mode. So why did he add color mode? So this should be all the way red. Oh, so it's not going all the way to red. That's why he added it, so that the color range would be the same as the rectangle we see here, at least for red and green. So here, let me go back. Oh, sorry, I just saw your new message. How long ago did you send it? Not too long ago. I have to go to get my nails done now, but it was so good to catch up and see a bit of your new process. Hope to talk to you more soon. Thank you so much, Sinev. It's so good. Again, so nice to see you. Yeah, have a nice nail appointment. And thank you so much for joining. I'm excited to see your glass streams in the future. That's awesome. Thanks for joining. Thank you. Cool. So, where did we leave off? So I was just adding color mode. Then color mode RGB 640, 360, 255, semicolon. And so hopefully now if we go all the way to the top right and click our mouse, it should be red. Why isn't it red? It's the same as it was before. Why is that? Now, why is this? What did I do wrong? So it's in setup, color mode RGB 640. Also, why is mine blue? I guess probably because of the color of my thing, but anyways, 640, 360, 255.
Red, all green. Green is the height of the window.
What else am I missing in my code? He said mouse pressed being at the bottom here shouldn't be making an issue. The reason I don't want to move that to the top is because, you know, from my understanding of the tutorial so far, that being down here shouldn't matter. And here, I'll try putting at the top later, but I don't think that's the issue. Void setup, we see size 640, 360, color mode 640, 360, 255, background. Oh, is that the issue? That's the issue. So it's right there because we were still defining the background color initially. Something about that much must have changed the color mode. So if we change that to 0, so theoretically, if I click my mouse in the top right, it's red. Oh, nope, that didn't fix it. It just started out black instead of with a color pre-existing. So all right. So anyways, we still changed it to 0, black background for when you initially start the drawing. So let's go to draw. So we have no stroke fill, my colors, circle, mouse X, mouse Y, 50. Yeah, what are we missing? So I guess as the last attempt, I'll put mouse pressed at the top of the code. No, that didn't fix it. That stayed the same. So I want to put that back at the bottom, just because I like having set up at the top. You know what, I'll add a comment too. I'll say from mouse press tutorial, chapter of learn processing tutorial by Daniel Shipman. The coding train. All right. I'll save it again. Yeah, what's going wrong here? All right, well, it's 6:26. We only have about 4 minutes left, so I should start to wrap up the stream before I have to head out. So I'm going to save. We'll keep this going next time. So what to do next time? let's say agenda for Wednesdays. Stream September. I say Wednesday because that's how I have to spell it out in my head when I type it out. Funny enough. But anyways, September. I don't know if anyone else does that. Let me know if you do. So that will be September 4th. Reviewing what we completed today on stream, review mouse pressed event and learn processing, the coding train, specifically the second half of the chapter focused on color mode until the end of the chapter. I'll leave that here, but I'll also say try to figure out why my 14th stream sketch code isn't lining up with Daniel Schiffman's. Code in the color mode section of the chapter. I'll say in the section of the mouse. Instagram has exceeded this duration, so it is that time of stream where we end the Instagram stream. But yeah, happy I went live on Instagram, even though we had some tech issues for a moment there. You know, we had a great convo with CNAB, so that was nice. That was fun. Been lining up with Daniel Schiffman code in the section of the what is this? Oh, of the mouse pressed event. Chapter focused on color mode. And then after that, we'll add in code possibilities from mouse pressed event into one of our previous processing sketches, and then we'll begin the next chapter. So I will be the first to admit we did not get a lot done today. You know, the productivity wise, one of the less productive streams I've had. However, it was a really nice chat. It was a really nice stream for a chat, you know, and talking with people. So this stream is still a W and still a win. In my eyes. So yeah, so what we did today, so we recap last stream, we continued the last tangent, and then we briefly talked about the Daniel Schiffman interview from Pat Vera. Again, that was in chat earlier, so I recommend going to check it out. Yeah, here's the link to it. And I have a link if you're watching on YouTube in the description. There's a link to the coding train as well, but I'll put that on the screen for a second again too, just so you all have it. And then went on fun tangents with chat because that is what we did. I'll say in chat, because it was really, do I say with chat or in chat? I hate referring to people as chat like a lot of streamers do, but I also just don't want to call out specific people in my notes. Not that's calling out, but I don't want to name specific people in my notes to reference in the future. I guess that's not a bad thing, but I don't have specific, what I'm trying to say is I don't want specific people's names who are active in chat to be on my notes that I present to you all on stream, because, you know, I didn't ask them if that's okay. Would want their consent before just putting people's names on the screen. But anyways, I guess that happens with the chat function. Anyways, I'm just overthinking it. That's the summary of that. So then we made a slight variation of our most recent processing sketch. No, I'll say we copied Daniel's code from the color mode section of the mouse press events tutorial. However, we ran into some errors we hope to resolve next stream. And I'll also say we reviewed the first half of the mouse pressed event tutorial, or I'll say mouse pressed event chapter. From the coding trains learn processing tutorial. We went on fun tangents with chat, and then that's where we copied the code, but it didn't work out for us. So hopefully we resolved that. It wasn't like a syntax error, it was an error. So I'll leave this here for now. I don't think we actually ended up doing all that much to these notes. We just kind of reformatted in a bit, but that's okay. I'll leave it here so that we have it for next time. Oh wow, that's starting to get close to the arrow. There, I'm also going to delete this note because we don't need that. I'll leave this here too because we kind of recapped this today again. Oh, and you know what? I should put a link to the interview with Pat Vieira in my notes. Now it feels like I'm a Daniel Schiffman fanboy with all the links of him up here. I am in some ways, you know, I'll admit that. But it feels a little obsessive. With all the links pop up, the photos. It's the photos of him in my notes that make it feel obsessive. But again, they automatically pop up when I type in the links. So I'll just say interview with Pat Vieira. Not Vera, Vieira. Cool. And this is looking good. So yeah, even though we didn't get a lot done, it was still a really fun stream and I had a good time. And I figured out one thing with the code. Remember, there's that part in the code. Sorry, got the message is still up. What was the part of the code? It was here, let me exit out of this. Oh yeah, when I copied this code I did figure out the issue with this too. Or like not the issue, sorry, I actually understood what Daniel was trying to say in his tutorial, which he said very clearly. I just didn't understand, which is that when you click your mouse, that the color of the background will change based on the coordinates of where the mouse is when you click on it. So we did figure that out, and that was a big aha moment for me this stream, so that felt good in addition to talking with chat. But yeah, anyways, I think that's it. I think I covered everything I want to for today. Or sorry, I didn't actually do that, but we had a good stream. And I'll cover it all tomorrow. You know, we got tomorrow. We'll focus in, continue from where we left off in the code and revise some of my old sketches based off of the new concepts that he talked about in this mouse press tutorial. So yeah, thank you all so much for sticking around. I hope it was nice to have on in the background as you're working on projects. And if you're watching on Twitch, please stick around. I will be rating someone in just a moment. And otherwise, thanks for joining. I will be streaming tomorrow, September 4th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we'll be live every Monday through Thursday at 5:30 p.m. and still at an undetermined time on Sunday. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day and stick around for the raid if you're on Twitch. Bye everyone. Thank you.